The fourth.
Ladies and gentlemen, today's program will include fireworks and loud noises at the end of the ceremony. Please rise for the presentation of the colors.
Here we go. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. We now welcome the University of Minnesota's undergraduate class of 2023.
Flourish, flourish. Crochet. Here we go. 1, 2. see you smile every time. Ready? Here we go. And sweet. Lewis tells me I'm a quarter of the way there. Here we go, football sweet. Jumping to the third movement. Third movement. Ready? Movement 3. Here we go. And up. Pomp and circumstance. And look out for when to go to 5 and when to go to 60. And this should be the last thing we do. You ready? I have no control. Lewis has all the control. National anthem. We did it, everybody.
Now please rise as you are able and remove your caps as we honor America by singing our national anthem. Please stay standing as we sing Lift Every Voice, performed by Known MPLS.
fighting.
We'll keep marching, fighting till the victory.
And hold your head up, brother, till the victory is
Hold your head up,
won.
brother, till the victory is
And keep believing, sister, till
Keep believing, sister,
until that day comes.
till that day comes. Let us march on till victory is won. Is won.
Let's give known MPLS one more round of applause. Well, welcome everyone. My name is Joan Gable and I'm the president of the University of Minnesota. You can sit down. Special welcome to the class of 2023. It's your graduation day. We are so proud of you. We're so honored to see you here today, and we couldn't be more grateful to have the opportunity to share this day with you as you complete the incredible journey that you've been on over these last few years. I want to extend my sincere appreciation to your faculty, advisors, friends, mentors, families, parents, everyone who's guided you along the way. Because navigating life is a team sport all the time, but these last few years have been extraordinary by any measure. So we're really grateful to see you come this far, this way, with your whole team with you, and we're cheering you on from afar. I also want to recognize the students we lost this year. We will forever have those students in our hearts. They will forever be Gophers. And I want to tell our families and everyone who called them friends or mentors, all of the faculty and staff, all of us from the university, bow our heads and stand with you today and tomorrow during this painful time. I also want to acknowledge that the University of Minnesota Twin Cities is built within the traditional homelands of the Dakota people. It's important to acknowledge the people on whose land we live, learn, and work as we seek to improve and strengthen our relations with our tribal nations. Graduates, this is the biggest commencement ceremony in university history. And in the spirit of Stevie Wonder, who was born on this day in 1950, I also want to acknowledge that degree you've worked so hard to attain is now signed, sealed, and delivered. The path before you is one of promise, of optimism, and of a future that has all kinds of opportunities available to it because of what you have navigated and achieved in these unique times. So I encourage you and I challenge you to continue to be bold and inspired, and I look forward to seeing all the things you will accomplish in the months and years ahead. But I also hope you know that you can always come home to the University of Minnesota, where the entire university community is so wholly and utterly proud of you. So congratulations, class of 2023. And now we have a surprise guest with us. Someone who knows our success as a state and as a nation depends on you and depends on ensuring that a quality education is accessible and who isn't afraid to reach across the aisle to get things done. Graduates, it's my pleasure to introduce to you U.S. Senator Amy Klobuchar.
Wow, the biggest graduation ever. Class of 2023. Extraordinary, and you know what? It rained at my graduation too. It poured. I had ponchos, and it all turned out fine. So have fun today. It is wonderful to be here with you, with your families, When you graduate, when you get that diploma today, it's your family's diploma too. Your moms and dads, yeah, I can hear the moms and dads. Grandmas and grandpas, it is theirs. To your class, congratulations. This is your day, and rain or all, you better enjoy it. So you, class of 2023, are getting your degree from a first-class place. You think about your incredible fellow alums, civil rights heroes like Roy Wilkins, incredible writers like Cheryl Strayed, and of course, political leaders like Hubert Humphrey and Walter Mondale, and leaders in business like your speaker today, Stefan Bancel, CEO of Moderna. So following in the footsteps of these great graduates, your parents and grandparents out there expect you to either become the Vice President of the United States, write a book that gets in Oprah's book club, or save the world by inventing a vaccine. No pressure, guys, no pressure. So the University of Minnesota has a special place in my family. My dad got his journalism degree here. My husband actually also graduated from here, undergraduate, so proud of the Gophers. And when my dad was here, he had so little money. My grandma was up in Ely that he would send his laundry, mail it every week for my grandma to do, and she would mail it back, and I'm sure none of you have ever had your moms do the laundry, never. We love the maroon and gold. And as graduates, you understand the power of education. It means everything. Look at my story. My grandpa worked 1,500 feet underground in the mines up in Ely. He never got to graduate from high school. He saved money in a coffee can in the basement to send my dad to school. My dad graduated from Ely College, a 2-year degree, and then finished up his 4 years at the university. He went on to be a columnist and a sports writer, and in 1976, he put out a book that is still sadly relevant today. It's called, Will the Vikings Ever Win the Super Bowl? My mom was a teacher who taught 2nd grade until she was 70 years old, and I still meet people who tell me she was their favorite teacher. So U of M graduates, I stand before you today as the granddaughter of an iron ore miner who never got to finish high school, the daughter of a 2nd grade teacher and a newspaper man with a University of Minnesota degree, and the first woman elected to the United States Senate from the state of Minnesota. That is what education is about. That is education. You, class of 2023, are graduating at an unparalleled moment in our nation's history. An enormous and sometimes time and soul-crunching moment. Technology changes, getting through the pandemic, a reckoning on justice and democracy. You are graduating at a time when a war in Ukraine, righteously supported by democracies across the world, including ours, is demonstrating both the fragility and the resiliency of democracy in the 21st century. That is the torch you are carrying on. You know, at a lot of graduations, people say to students, hey, you are now entering the real world. My view is you have been in the real world the last 4 years. You class studied in lecture halls, dorm rooms, and yes, in some cases, your childhood bedrooms. You mastered the art of rolling with the punches. You figured out how to use the mute button a lot better than your professors. And I can tell you a lot better than US senators. And together, with grit and determination, you got through this. So no one's got to tell you that you got to get in the real world. You're in it now. And as you move to the next challenge, I got one thing to ask you. A lot of my life was defined the last few years because of what happened on January 6th. Republican Senator Roy Blunt and I, we were the ones in charge that day. We were the ones that at 4 in the morning walked across that broken glass and by those pillars that were spray painted with racist vulgarities. With Vice President Pence, we made that walk and we said democracy will prevail, and it did. And what I'm asking you is to take up that torch that we took up on that walk and continue that torch to the democracy. As Amanda Gorman, your generation, the youngest poet in inauguration history, in her beautiful yellow coat under that blue sky day, said that day, and I loved her poem so much. She said that we must find light in this never-ending shade. My ask of you is that you carry that torch of our democracy. You have met kids at this school, students at this school, that you would have never met growing up, and you've gotten to be friends with them. You have met people with different ideologies and different views than you grew up with or that you have yourself. But you have been willing to sit down in dorm rooms and in lunchrooms and in cafeterias and have real debates about ideas and issues. And I don't want you to forget that when you get in some silo in your job or whatever you're doing. I want you to remember that you don't spend your whole time looking down at your phones. You do what you're doing now. You look at the person next to you. You look at each other. That's what this democracy needs right now, because there is light in talking to people you don't always agree with. There is light in recognizing that more often than not, the path to reaching higher ground begins with finding common ground. And there is light in using your degrees, whether you go into business or government or nonprofits, using your degrees to do good in the world. So I am asking you to carry on this torch, rain or shine, for our democracy. Use your degree for good, have fun today, and then go out there and lead. Thank you, University of Minnesota, class of 2023.
Thank you, Senator Klobuchar. What a great surprise. We sincerely appreciate you being with us today and sharing this important day with our graduates. So now we are very pleased to welcome our student speaker. Arahi Shah is coming to the podium as a first-generation American born and raised in Minnesota. She spent her undergraduate years as president of the College of Liberal Arts Student Board, as homecoming queen, and as a member of the Indian Student Association and a group fitness instructor. Today, Arahi will be graduating with a Bachelor of Arts in Human Physiology and a minor in Interdisciplinary Design. Beginning in fall 2023, she will be continuing her journey as a Gopher at the University of Minnesota Medical School in the Twin Cities. That's right. Her passion for learning and public service truly embodies the university's commitments to these values. Please welcome Arahi.
Thank you, President Gable, for the introduction. Graduates, parents, faculty, families, and supporters in the audience, what a remarkable day! I want to begin by congratulating the University of Minnesota class of 2023. Woo! Yeah. Welcome, everyone, to the University of Minnesota. Thank you for celebrating with us. We love you. Students, would you please join me in a round of applause for all who have helped us earn this degree? I'm the daughter of 2 East Indian immigrants who came to this country with $50, a suitcase, and a desire to fulfill the American dream. Their experiences as they navigated a foreign country established values deeply embedded in my sister and me. Growing up a first-generation Indian American and Hindu in rural Long Prairie, Minnesota, and attending the University of Minnesota certainly put these morals to the test. We're graduating from this university at an interesting moment in history. Among us is living, walking history. First-generation college students, first-generation Americans, and the first generation of students saying, can you unmute, please, during class. I want to briefly share a story that some of you may be familiar with. Imagine a young circus elephant with a rope tied around its leg. Not strong enough to break free, the baby elephant learns to be constrained, to not even try. Later, as a fully grown adult, the trainer simply has to wrap a rope around the elephant's leg for it to believe it is stuck, even though it has the incredible strength to break free. We see that the elephant has been conditioned to not utilize its power. As we transition from the you to our next endeavor, I implore you, don't be like a circus elephant. Don't be held back by parameters you think exist. Each and every one of us is a powerful, spiritual being with the beautiful gifts and talents to flourish. I'm not sure what your journey at the U of M has looked like. 2 years, 4 years, maybe some other length of time. But I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge our collective experience as humans. In too many ways, we see how fragile our world is, from economic devastation inflicted by the pandemic, to systemic injustice, to the climate crisis and geopolitical tensions. We're graduating, more than ready to face the real world because we already have. The worlds we're obligated to change are the ones around us, the ones that spent our university years supporting us. Offices we're in, relationships we're in, Ubers we're in, dinner tables we're at, and communities where we live. As I mentioned at the beginning of my speech, my parents came to this country with the dream that my sister and I could pursue an education. I am so grateful that my family is present today to see me complete this journey. I also would like to acknowledge those that could not be here today but are watching all around the world. Graduates, let's turn to that camera in the middle and wave to everyone watching. Over the past years, many of our dreams have come true. Yet there are so many dreams waiting to be realized. We're a class filled with resilience, power, and unparalleled potential. U of M class of 2023, we've been part of history. We're currently shaping history, and will continue to be makers of history. Today, with our newly discovered identities, I invite you to turn up the volume unique to your calling, to the highest, fullest version of yourself, fulfilling your purpose, your meaning, your intention is what gives you that powerful spark of energy that will make you glow. I want to conclude this honor and my remarks by saying, congratulations, University of Minnesota class of 2023. Go Gophers!
That was awesome. Thank you, Arahi. We're so proud of you. We're proud of all of your classmates, and what a wonderful job speaking on their behalf. And so now we're honored to have our alum, Stefan Bancel, as our keynote speaker. Stefan is a graduate of the University of Minnesota's College of Science and Engineering with a master's degree in chemical engineering. He has served as Moderna's Chief Executive Officer since 2011 and as a member of their board since March of 2011. Graduates, please join me in welcoming Stefan Bancel.
President Gabel, thank you for these kind words, and thank you for this really humbling invitation to be the speaker of the class today. Good afternoon, class of 2023. Let me join the President, the US Senator, the Provost, the Regents, the Deans, the faculty, the university staff, your families, your friends, and congratulate you to achieving today a very important step of your life. Congratulations, class of 2023, you are graduating today. It's a bit surreal for me standing here, knowing that I was in your seat in 1995. University of Minnesota is in my heart because it was the first time I came to America, and I got a very warm welcome. I also learned how much I enjoy watching ice hockey and American football. As I reflected on what I should say to you today, I concluded that I wanted to talk to you about 3 experiences: making the world a better place, obsessing about learning, and people. So first topic, the importance of making the world a better place. I'm French, and in France, we do talk about death. I will die one day. So I have a limited amount of time on this earth to make an impact. I believe that all of us have an important choice to make every day about how we use our time on this planet. What we do in our homes, what we do with our friends, what we do in our communities where we live, what we do at work. You can decide to focus on yourself, your career, financials, fames, hobbies. Or you can decide that the best way to live your life is to use your time to make the world a better place. As human beings, we are all very differently wired. An important question I believe you need to ask yourself is what gives you energy? If my wife was giving this commencement speech, she would ask you a different version of the same question. She will ask you what gives you joy. I believe that you will be happy doing the things that give you energy. I believe you will become the best version of yourself by doing things that give you energy. If you can find a Venn diagram with what gives you energy and what will make the world a better place, I think you will have a very happy life. I realized that I had the chance early in my life to know that I wanted to work in healthcare. I wanted to use my time to help other human beings with their health. I went to Jesuit school growing up. As a young boy, I didn't really understand what this meant until much later in my life. The Jesuits believe that you should find your talent and then learn how to use those talents to suit the needs of the world. Since my teenager years, science, technology, and business have given me energy. So as you can see, my Venn diagram ended up being working for a life science company. By doing this, I could combine my desire to work on problems that could make the world a better place by helping people and doing STEM and cool business stuff. So class of 23, I'm asking each one of you, what is your Venn diagram? Some of my friends from college chose careers that solve for short-term needs. The location of a job paying more money than the other job, a job with a very fancy title, or other things that they cared about. Some of them ended up being very successful, but none of them ended up all being happy. In 2011, a small group of Boston academics and an entrepreneur approached me with the idea to use mRNA to inject in people to make medicine. My initial reaction was, you must be kidding me, right? Injecting mRNA in people? That's never going to work. But the more I thought about it, the more I thought that if we could find a way to make it work, it could change medicine forever. So the odds were not so good. I told my wife, this has 5% chance of working. But the upside for the world, if we could make mRNA work safely, was worth the downside for me and for my family if the enterprise failed. So I did something that all my friends advised me not to do, all of them. I decided to resign from a super nice job running a publicly large company to become Moderna's employee number 2. because I believe if we could make this work, it will impact the lives of hundreds of millions of people in the decades to come. Class of 23, your decisions, the good ones and the bad ones, become your life. So class of 23, I have two questions for you. What gives you energy? What gives you joy? And what problem of the world are you trying to solve with your talent? So topic number 2, the importance of obsessing about learning. I know you're all excited to graduate, and some of you might think you are done learning. I give you that you can take a little break. But I'm also here to tell you that you should never stop learning. One of the most amazing things about life, and it's very humbling, is that the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know much. At least that has been my experience. So over the years, one of the questions that I love to ask when I don't understand, with no shame, is why? When I understand how something works, I can use that knowledge to apply to the mental model I have of the world and move forward. I believe that compounding, or for geeks like me, 1 plus x to the power n, is one of the most profound laws of life. Our human brain is not set up to capture the power of compounding. We, as Homo sapiens, all think linearly. Time is our most precious resource in life. I remind regularly my friends and coworkers that no one can buy time. You can buy money. Many of us have done it, you have done it, it's called debt. When we buy money, when we get on debt, we pay money to a bank to get money. But no one can buy time. Time is amazing and beautiful because it's a perfect equalizer in the world. Nobody can buy time. But you can decide to use your time to learn. And if you learn a lot every day, the compounding of that knowledge in 5, 10, 20 years will be breathtaking. 1 plus x to the power n. Mentors are a great way to learn in life. A safe place to ask guidance, sometimes stupid questions, and frameworks on how you should make decisions yourself. I think it's important to share learning around you with people so that you make people stronger around you. If you are mission-driven and you care about changing the world, sharing what you learn will contribute to make the world a better place, to help other people. I believe that to become the best version of yourself, one thing to learn is about your fears. We all have fears. That's what makes us human. Some of them we understand clearly. Some, initially in life, we don't. Most of the time, those fears do not lead us to the best version of ourselves. So I encourage you to think and analyze your behavior when you do something that is not consistent with who you want to be. Figure out what drove that behavior, and if you can learn about your fears, then you can manage them. And that process will make you a better person. Class of 2023, 1 plus x to the power n, in one of the most profound laws of the world. Don't be shy of using it daily. Be curious every day. Topic number 3. Last one, don't worry. But most probably the most important, the importance of people. You have all heard the old saying, in real estate, it's about location, location, location. When I believe that in life, it's all about people, people, people. I believe deeply in people, in talent, in diverse talent. Building Moderna took that belief to another level. When we started, there was nothing. We had almost no money, and it was really hard to hire people because Most scientists with a right mind will look at me funny, say, you want to use mRNA to inject in people? That will never work. So hiring people was really hard. So there was nothing. And then the mRNA science discovered by people. The 48 medicines we have in the pipeline now in the clinic, invented by people. Our plant in Massachusetts, built by people. The vaccine done in 1 year, done by people. If you surround yourself with mission-minded people, you will do great things. If you surround yourself with average people, well, good luck to you. I believe that the most important people decision in your life is who you choose as your life partner. Who are you building your life with? I won the lottery marrying Brenda. She's now my best friend. Brenda has been there when it was hard, when it was joyful. Brenda has made me a better person. She would call me out when I'm not being myself. She has brought out side of me that make me a better person. I love Brenda more today than when I married her 22 years ago. Life can be hard, but your home should be easy. You should feel supported, encouraged, and loved in that space. As you decide to join new teams in your professional lives, make sure that the culture is a good fit for you. Not every organization is going to be a good fit for you. When I want to hire somebody to work on my team, after a long interview process, I always take them out to dinner. And my acid test is really simple. If I don't enjoy spending time with that person around food and a bottle of wine, we should not work together. Life is too short. You need to work with people that you enjoy. And to be the best version of yourself, you need to be surrounded by people that you enjoy. Class of 23, make wise people decisions. Love and care about people around you, and good things will happen in your life. People around you end up making you who you become over time. Let me say that again. People around you end up making you who you become over time. All of us will face difficult times. Because of this, we need to cultivate relationships to get us through these hard moments. Our family had quite some hard times during COVID, as you can imagine, but our friends were there for us all the time. My wife says in life, we all need a PhD in friendship. Having a PhD in friendship, I would imagine, will require three things: loyalty, availability, and being loving. Show up for people. Your time with them is one of your best investments, or how they will feel about themselves. A friend of mine, Bob Goff, always says, our opinions are what we'll be known for, but our love is what we'll be remembered for. What were the odds that a kid from Marseille, France, sitting in a 1995 class graduation, would have the opportunity to build and lead a company like Moderna? I believe the key ingredients are those I shared with you today. I care deeply about making the world a better place. To accomplish such impact, it requires a village. Engineers, doctors, lawyers, scientists, financials, and many, many more. It requires people who are mission-driven, people who care, people who can collaborate because it is not about them. It's about the mission and what you are trying to do together. It requires all of us to keep on learning because each day matters for the patients. Class of 23, you have a unique opportunity to make the world a better place. How you will decide to use it is up to you. Congratulations again, and thank you.
Hello. I just want to start out by saying, wow, that was amazing. So thank you so much for that. My name is Caroline Pritchard, and I'm a proud graduate of the University of Minnesota and a former trumpet player from the Pride of Minnesota Marching Band. One of the best parts about being a Golden Gopher is the electric atmosphere at home games in the stadium, especially between the third and the fourth quarters of the football games. And since we're about 3/4 of the way through this commencement ceremony, I invite you to please stand up as you are able, watch the following video, and join me in doing the Gopher.
Gopher students, this is your head football coach, PJ Fleck. Congratulations on graduating from the University of Minnesota. It's an honor to have you, your family, and your friends here to celebrate this special day at Huntington Bank Stadium. I couldn't be more excited to have you officially join our alumni family. We hope to see you here for football games this fall, but also encourage you to continue supporting our other athletic programs as well. The M never comes off. You will always be a Gopher. Now get out of your seat and join your fellow graduates as I want you to do the Gopher. Row the boat, Sky Yuma, and go Gophers.
Well, Beyonce, who once was on the stage, I think would be proud of how we did the Gopher, don't you think? Anyway, now we come to the sort of the heart of the matter. Greetings, everyone. My name is Shri Zahir, and I'm Dean of the Carlson School of Management. It is customary for the dean of each college to present their class to the university leadership for consideration for their degree conferral. In that light, will the degree candidates from the Carlson School of Management please rise as you are able? Woo-hoo. The Carlson School class of 2023, you survived I-Corps. You completed international experiences in dozens of countries, and you made an impact through real-world projects, supporting businesses of all kinds, signaling their readiness to continue to use business as a force for good. President Gable, Provost Croson, Board of Regents, distinguished guests, family and friends, I would like to present the Carlson School of Management class of 2023. And I now invite my colleague from the College of Biological Sciences to the podium. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean Zahir. I am Dave Greenstein, Interim Dean of the College of Biological Sciences. Will the degree candidates from the College of Biological Sciences please rise as you are able? You've invested tremendous effort and energy to get here today. You should feel very confident in your ability to ask and investigate important questions and use the skills you've acquired as a student of the life sciences to make positive contributions in whatever field you choose. Congratulations. President Gable, Provost Croson, Board of Regents, distinguished guests, family and friends, I would like to present the College of Biological Sciences undergraduate class of 2023 And now I would like to invite my colleague from the College of Continuing and Professional Studies to the podium.
Thank you, Dean Greenstein. My name is Bob Stein. I'm the Dean of the College of Continuing and Professional Studies. As you are able, I invite candidates from the College of Continuing and Professional Studies to please rise. You are a small but mighty group of individuals who are completing a variety of applied and individualized degrees. Many of you followed a non-traditional path to arrive at this moment, and we in the college couldn't be more proud of your accomplishments. On behalf of the faculty and the staff in the college, thank you for allowing us to journey with you through the completion of your degree. Go forth from this day and not only do well, but as we heard from some of the speakers, do good. President Gable, Provost Croson, Board of Regents, distinguished guests, family and friends, I would like to present the College of Continuing and Professional Studies undergraduate class of 2023. And now I invite my colleague from the College of Design to the podium.
Thank you, Dean Stein. My name is Carol Strohecker, and I'm the Dean of the College of Design. Will the degree candidates from the College of Design please rise as you are able? These students have been pursuing degree majors in apparel design, architecture, graphic design, interior design, landscape architecture, product design, and retail merchandising. Our students and graduates consider the societal and environmental impacts and benefits of the things they study and create. They are making the world a better place. President Gable, Provost Croson, Board of Regents, distinguished guests, family and friends, I would like to present the College of Design class of 2023. And now I invite to the podium my colleague from the College of Education and Human Development.
Thank you, Dean Strohecker. Greetings, my name is Michael Rodriguez, Dean of the College of Education and Human Development. Will the degree candidates of the College of Education and Human Development please rise as you are able? This class represents business and marketing education, developmental psychology, early childhood, elementary education, family social science, human resource development, kinesiology, physical activity and health promotion, special education, sports management, and youth studies. These graduates are improving lives. President Gable, Provost Croson, Board of Regents, distinguished guests, family and friends, I would like to present the College of Education and Human Development class of 2023. I now invite my colleague from the College of Food, Agricultural, and Natural Resource Sciences to the podium.
Good afternoon. My name is Brian Boer, and I'm Dean of the College of Food, Agricultural, and Natural Resource Sciences. Will the degree candidates from CFANS please rise as you're able? Congratulations on your success. You've all displayed amazing resilience and determination in achieving your success. You now carry our hopes and dreams and ambitions of nourishing all people and restoring our world's beautiful natural wonder and resources. That sounds overwhelmingly challenging, but as a famous fine literature artist once said, you have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes, you can steer your world any direction you choose. Dr. Seuss. President Gable, Provost Croson, Board of Regents, distinguished guests, family, and friends, I would like to present the College of Food, Agricultural, and Natural Resources Sciences, Class of 2023. And now I invite my colleague from the College of Liberal Arts, Dean John Coleman.
Hello, everyone. I'm John Coleman, Dean of the College of Liberal Arts. Will the degree candidates from the College of Liberal Arts please rise as you are able? What a beautiful group. Today, our college makes history. You, our graduates, make history as we come together in the university's largest ever commencement ceremony. And now it's time for you to make some history of your own, to apply your empathy, innovation, and curiosity in becoming the leaders that our global community needs. Your studies in CLA stretched across the arts, humanities, social sciences, communications, health, and sciences. You are emerging visionaries and innovators, exquisite artists, articulate communicators, soon to be brilliant entrepreneurs, teachers, lawyers, doctors, scientists, business and nonprofit leaders, and more. We are so proud of your accomplishments to date and excited for all of the accomplishments and adventures that await you. I'd like to express my gratitude to Arohi Shah, our commencement student speaker today, and the CLA Student Board President, for speaking today, being a great representative of CLA and you as CLA students, and for being a terrific and collaborative partner on important issues. And now, President Gable, Provost Croson, Board of Regents, distinguished guests, family and friends, I am proud to present the College of Liberal Arts undergraduate class of 2023. I now invite my colleague from the College of Science and Engineering to the podium.
Good afternoon. My name is Paul Strykowski. I'm the Associate Dean for Undergraduates in the College of Science and Engineering. Will degree candidates from the College of Science and Engineering please rise? Darn good looking group you are. I stand humbly before you, proud of your accomplishments. Not only did you survive chemistry, calculus, and everyone's favorite subject, physics, you were leaders, you were creative, and you worked together. Not only are you ready to solve some of the world's most challenging problems, you are ready and passionate to improve the human condition through what you will do. Whether you joined us as traditional freshmen or transfer students, you will be bound together for the rest of your lives as a family. Finally, borrowing a line from Top Gun Maverick, it's been an honor flying with you. Congratulations.
Thank you, deans, and congrats again, graduates. So now it's my pleasure to introduce to you Emilia Ndeli Agundape. Amelia is a board member of the University of Minnesota Alumni Association Board of Directors, and she's here to welcome you as the University of Minnesota's newest alumni. She's a 2011 alum of the College of Liberal Arts. As a White House Presidential Innovation Fellow, she wields her creativity and expertise to develop effective services and products that serve the needs of citizens everywhere. Amelia?
Thank you so much, President Gable. Good afternoon, soon-to-be graduates and their supporters. In just a few minutes, your journey as a student of the University of Minnesota will come to an end, and your next journey as an alum of the University of Minnesota will begin. This voyage will last a lifetime. If you have mixed feelings about this, then you share the same feelings I had in 2011. Feelings of excitement to be able to take what I had learned inside and outside of the classroom and conquer the world. Feelings of fear to leave the safety net of the university and academia in general. And feelings of sadness to not get to see my friends every day. But I'm here today as a proud alum and former participant of the African Student Association's Mr. and Mrs. Africa pageant that I participated in with my now husband, a former board member of both Black Student Union and Boynton Student Health Advisory Council, past president of Black Motivated Women, and the founder and past president of the University of Minnesota's Black Alumni Network. I'm here to remind you that you can always come home to the U of M, because that M is now forever with you. I'm also here today on behalf of the University of Minnesota's Alumni Association's Board of Directors to congratulate you on your graduation. Your Alumni Association, or UMAA for short, was founded in 1904 so that the entire alumni family could stand as one and promote the greater good of the U. For the last 119 years, every generation of graduates has carried on this selfless mission. Alumni of the past have initiated grand projects for this university, such as building Northrop Auditorium, investing in you through scholarships and internships, and creating MinnesotaAlumniMarket.com, the first and only store to exclusively promote and source products from alumni business owners. Throughout your alumni family legacy, we have continually engaged elected officials, business leaders, philanthropists, and each other to strengthen the university for the future ahead. Now it's up to you and the alumni of the future to determine how great this university can be for the class of 2033, the class of 2073, and the class of 2123. So I invite you to stay informed about what's going on in your department, in your college, and around campus. Become loyal readers of your alumni newsletters and magazines like Minnesota Alumni, UMAA's magazine for members. It's never been easier to stay informed and involved with all things maroon and gold. I also invite you to join the Alumni Association as a member. We're offering discounted memberships to all of you, and the quicker that you join the Alumni Association, the quicker we can actually serve you. A global community of over 500,000 alumni are here to help you go anywhere in the world with whatever career path you choose. Through the Alumni Association, you can find services and fellow alumni that are ready to help you celebrate and grow your U of M relationships, advocate for the U, and thrive both personally and professionally. Class of 2023, I leave you with a quote from a famous alum and a former American football player, Tony Dungy. It's about the journey, mine and yours, and the lives we can touch, the legacy we can leave, and the world we can change for the better. As an alumni, you can take that University of Minnesota legacy with you, and I hope that we can stay connected so that we can change the world for the better. On behalf of the Alumni Association and as a fellow alum, I wish you the best on your journey ahead. I have no doubt that you will run into fellow alumni along the way, as we are truly everywhere in the world. Congratulations once again, and Ski Ma. It is now my pleasure to introduce you to Regent Hipsch to confirm your degrees.
Hello, everyone. Will the candidates for degrees please rise as you are able? Upon the recommendation of the faculty and by the authority of the Board of Regents, I now confer upon you the degrees of which you have qualified. The graduates may move their tassels to the left side of their mortar boards. Way to go, you may now be seated.
Now, please rise as you are able as we sing a song near and dear to us, Hail, Minnesota.
All right, graduates, thank you all so much for coming today. Congratulations on behalf of the platform party, the faculty, all of your advisors and staff. It was an absolute honor to celebrate with you today. Please be seated. The platform party will process, and then the faculty, and then the marshals will escort you out. Families and friends, please wait for the students to depart, and then you're welcome to join them. Congratulations, class of 2023.
One more, Easter Monday.